All right, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me. I've still got this nasty cold flu thing going on, so I'm going to be coughing and sneezing and all that fun stuff, but the show must go on. How are you guys doing? I just had a nice lunch with a lot of raw garlic. I'm hoping the heat will get in there and kick whatever this thing is out. Oh, gosh. Kids bring home the stuff from school. It's not fun. Can you guys hear me okay? I'll wait till someone says they can hear me. Let me know if you can see the screen. I appear to be broadcasting the correct screen, thankfully. It's about 1:52 p.m. Eastern, so the interest rate release with the accompanying statement will come out in about 8 minutes. That'll probably cause an initial move. It'll then settle down, and then we'll wait for Powell to give his press conference at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Hey, on. Good. Nice. Get over it. Get over what? The cold? Yeah, I hope so. I hope so soon, my friend. How old are you, Jan? Could easily be my dad. Nice. So you're retired. Just trading and making money and living the dream. I like it. Huh. All right. So what I'm seeing here is on gold, the daily chart. You know, we're right into this weekly pocket right here. We've got the extension. We've got a 2-bar push into the extension. You've got these DMLs here as resistance. So I'm going to be looking for a short up into this area if the intraday chart confirms it here. So far, you can see last night at the open, gold reacted really well right out of the gates here from that 2-bar exhaust. Immediately got sold into, and now we've just been chopping, waiting for the FOMC. So we've got the 12,000 volume chart here for gold, and we've got the daily levels overlaid here nicely. So, you know, sometimes with these FOMCs, you can get, you know, a big move like this. That'd be nice, short, and then back down. So we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's wait and see what happens. And Johan, do you have any kids? So that's what I'm looking for on gold. On ES, you can see we're coming out of that pocket pretty good, but you know, we'll see what happens. We had a good move overnight. You know, silver is already leading to the downside pretty nicely. So if silver continues to get slammed, then I like that, you know, potentially shorting gold up there even more. Did you just get paid, Aaron? Nice job, man. Okay. Retirement age is a bit late in Scandinavia. Really? All the Scandinavians I know retire very early into the social welfare system. I always thought people worked much later in the US. I suppose it's different. I think Scandinavia is pretty comfy. Oh, nice. Well, she's Danish, right? Like my wife is Swedish. So the Scandinavian women, Johan, they are beautiful. That's why I married one. What's up, Supreme? I think we'll blast off with news like 150. Yeah, definitely could. I mean, heading into the announcement here in 4 minutes, you can see Nasdaq. I've got the 30,000 volume. I'll explain these charts, you know, when we get a little downtime, guys, after the announcement. But I mean, we're still sitting right at this support level here, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But I just think gold's got a clear picture. up there for a short potentially because you're in that weekly pocket. I mean, silver also looks like it wants to be pretty weak. What do you think, Aaron? Going up or down? I'm going to watch gold. That's kind of what I want to watch. Get it up on my trader fives. Nice. Make sure it's correct. Yeah, it's correct data. Okay, 67. Yeah, that's pretty similar to the US. I mean, my mom is 68. She just went into retirement. My dad's like 71. He'll be 72. He's been in retirement for a while. Hey, Tim Nasi. Welcome, my friend. We're looking at gold. I just want to see what happens here on the Fed. I don't usually trade news releases. They're not really my cup of tea, but I wanted to see what happens here. I think there's going to be a lot more action when Powell starts speaking at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, but you'll always get that good initial pop. Yeah, exactly. Well, what are the colors, Tim Nasi? Like blue for up and red for down. He's signaling to the boys. All right, so I'm going to look to potentially short gold if we get a really big pop, because I like this 2-bar exhaust up here on the daily for a potential move back down here, just like silver kind of leading the way right now. Crude's under pressure here. So especially if the indices rally, we're going to find out here in a couple minutes. So we don't have to guess. We can just watch and wait. So let's see. Hung out with the head coach from the Suns when he was here in Denmark. Nice. I used to play ball, Johan. University ball. The big boys, D1. I was a walk-on, but I was too short, so I stopped. But I could dunk. Pretty good. Aaron, if I had to bet, I would say down when announced, if no cut. Okay, yeah, let's see. Miyagi, Christian, what's up? Ty is leading indicator. Long VIX before news, free money. Okay, free money's always good. I like free money. Aaron, don't you like free money? Me and Aaron like free money a lot. David, what's up? Yeah, I'll explain that in a second. I'm just simplifying it for today, David. But we'll get into that here after the announcement, and in between the release and the press conference, I'll explain, what's going on with the charts. I'm just simplifying it for you guys. All right, here it comes. Which algo is going to read the statement first? All the algos are scanning the statement right now. Oh my God, they left out the, in the previous statement, the was right there. It's not there now. That's so funny. Well, I've got gold up on my DOM, so if you guys want to watch NQ, we can watch NQ. I mean, so far pretty muted. Not really. Usually we kind of see more than this, but maybe they're late by a minute. I don't know. Sometimes they are. So on NQ here, we'll just wait and see where this bar closes. Thanks, Christian. So he posted in the chat, Fed economic activity has continued to expand at a solid pace despite swings in net exports. Committee judges risk of higher unemployment and higher inflation have risen. Well, higher unemployment and higher inflation I mean, that pretty much means stagflation. So if that's the case, then gold is probably going to go up. Let's see what happens. So far, fairly muted. Yeah, this feels like no news at all so far. Now we're moving a little bit. Kind of a muted statement. Let's see what ES is doing. Trying to push off that support. I think it's going to be pretty choppy pre-Powell press conference. So we can go over some charts in the meantime. Let's look at the Dow. Nice. Tim, I don't know if you're here, but that's a good example too of a 2-bar. 1, 2 right there. Into the extension DML. Into its own DMLs. Yeah, exactly, Supreme. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Let's see what ultra bonds are doing. We've got the bonds here. I like the ultra bond. Also very muted. I mean, typically on these days, you'll see some pretty wild moves. Gold's not doing much yet. Silver's doing nothing. Crude's doing nothing. I guess the market's confused. Johan, what are you doing? The market's confused. Johan can let us know. He's got some clarity for us over there in Denmark. We got the Scandinavian representation. We got Adam in Iceland. Johan's in Denmark. My wife is Swedish. I'm a Swedish passport holder, Johan. So we're representing Scandinavia very well. Wow, very muted. So we're going to get a close here on the Nasdaq 30,000 volume. I'll explain why we're on 30,000 volume here in a second. Get a close. I'm not going to do anything pre-Powell. I want some volatility. Right now, I think it's just going to chop around. Yeah, exactly. This is just chop. Just chop price action. I agree. Let me get an aspirin. I will be back in 1 second. All right. Took a nice aspirin there. That'll be helpful. So this is going to close here in about 8,000 contracts. It'll probably take a while to trade those 8,000 contracts, waiting for Powell. Pretty good overnight range. Yeah, so well, I see there's lots of confusion. Some people are doing really well. So let's see, Aaron, if we break 790, a decent move downward. Yeah, there's a lot of support there. Let's see what happens. So I have my chart set up like this as an example because Ralph was talking about this in the chat today. You know, when you guys are sitting there focusing on one market like ES or NQ, and it's choppy, I mean, it really, to me, makes a lot more sense. And what I like to do is just focus on a bunch of different markets and just wait for really good patterns into good levels that are lining up with the daily DMLs and the daily bias. So I'll explain that in a second. But here, Aaron, you're getting your dump. Are you shorting the breakout? I'm not. I'm waiting for Powell. ES kind of following through. Heavy selling. I mean, the statement was very stagflationary. Bonds are pushing. Gold surprisingly not really acting yet. Silver doing nothing. Good short there for the momentum traders. Well, it'll be interesting to see if we're headed down to that DML. Sure looks like it at the moment. All right, so David, back to your question here. Why do I have the chart set up like this? Well, a number of reasons, but basically, you know, it's all about trading a lower time period into a higher time period with VolPro Edge. So what I like to do is, you see, our end of day analysis every day is based on, you know, the daily chart here, the weekly chart, the monthly chart. Yeah, you were right, Aaron. Did you short it? So the end of day analysis is based on all the higher time period charts here, right? So the highest probability setups are to just wait for good moves into good zones. Nice, buddy. On the daily chart. And I like the idea of setting up, so this volume based chart, for example, on ES, the reason that this is 60,000 contracts is because you can see over here on the daily chart, this is the ES daily we've got here, right? The daily trades right around 120,000, sorry, 1.2 million contracts a day, okay? So if you go basically 5% of that, you know, which is kind of like an hourly bar, but volume based, then you'll get 60,000 contracts, right? So basically what I did for each one of these markets is I just took the daily, you know, more or less average volume and then just, you know, made a 5% of that on the intraday volume based charts. This just gives you basically like an hourly chart into a daily chart, because now you've still got the multiple time period analysis. You've got, you know, your lower time period volume chart, and you're just looking for good setups into the key daily areas. Okay, so I think if you approach it like this, it's going to be easier for you to read and not get too hung up, you know, looking. I think too many people are looking at a 5-minute chart, a 15-minute chart. You know, I think that that's a mistake. You don't need to be down in the weeds. You know, there's a reason that 95% plus of day traders fail. And the reason is because they're in the weeds. So I don't want you guys to be in the weeds. I want you to step back and just, you know, you don't have to be married to the ES or the NQ. You can look at the major markets and just scroll through and just wait for setups that jump out at you into good daily levels and just take them, right? So, you know, we can go over some examples, and this is the way that I'm going to start running the live streaming, because this is the way that I like to trade, and I think it's a better way to teach you guys how to trade. And we'll get a lot more trades when we're cycling through all these different markets instead of just staring at NQ, right? 2 LTP charts. Yeah, I mean, David, you can use 2, right? So I'm just right now, think of these are the 2 charts. Okay, so like if we're normally day trading and we have a 10,000 volume into a 50,000 volume, right? Now we have a 30,000 volume into a daily, right? So it's still the same thing. It's just pulling it back. Does that make sense? It's pulling it way back, which I think is really important. And if you want to keep using, you know, the 10,000 into the 50,000, you know, that's fine. You guys can do what you want to do, but, you know, for the streaming, I think it's much more helpful and better for me as well to scroll through and just wait for really high probability setups on these charts here, okay? And you can see that they happen all day, right? So it doesn't have to be, you know, oh, the open is when you stream. No, you can just stream whenever you want. Whenever I want to start streaming, you know, there's going to be setups here because you're looking at all these markets and they're all moving all the time. And if you wait for the good setups, you'll get good trades every day. Does that make sense? Because the way that I trade is that I just have my charts open all the time. And I'm not married to like, oh, the open I have to trade or this I have to trade. I'm just waiting for good setups. And when I see good setups, you know, that's what I trade. So I don't like the fixed thing of like, okay, at the open every day, like you have to, you know, look at this 1 hour of time and take trades. Like I don't trade like that. Some people do. So, because I had to think about this too, you know, I've got a baby on the way, guys. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna have a newborn, right? So I'm not gonna be getting a whole heck of a lot of sleep. And the thought of not getting a lot of sleep, being up through the night, and then waking up at, you know, 6 a.m. to come and just trade New York, it's like, no, like I'm gonna have to adjust this to my life. So if I'm not gonna be getting a lot of sleep during the night, and I need to sleep till, you know, 9 in the morning in Costa Rica, well, then I'll just wake up and start trading when I'm awake and fresh. And then when I do that, that's when I'll start streaming, right? So these are the kind of the things that I had to think about. Because there's a lot going on right now, preparation, you know, for the baby and all that kind of stuff. So we got Powell coming out with his press conference in like 17 minutes. And ultimately, guys, what I want to talk about with the algos is that I'm going to set up a channel. My programmer, I've been working on the algos for a while, so I'll just give you an example of how my algos work. They're quite different than, you know, other people's algos, which just run on one market doing one thing all the time. Mine aren't going to do that. So, you know, let me just give you an example on gold. So yesterday here on that 2-bar push, 2-bar exhaust, we've got a lot of resistance there on the daily chart because of the 2-bar exhaust. You've got this zone from that core DML to that extension DML holding as resistance. You got the core DML here above you, that's resistance. So that's really nice right there on the daily resistance for gold, right? But on top of that, if you look here on the gold weekly chart, we're into a beautiful, very steep, symmetrical pocket. There's a lot of resistance right here, right? So who knows if it's going to ultimately hold a break? That doesn't matter. Well, we're looking for opportunities from one day to the next, right? So you're in that weekly pocket. You're right next to that weekly extension coming across, which is coming across right here into all that daily, right? So for me, you know, I know that gold most likely is going to move while I'm asleep because I know that gold will move, you know, late, you know, Asia right away into London. That's what gold does, right? So I would just have an algo running that says, hey, since I think we're coming out of resistance here, if the volume chart on gold starts to trend down and we do in fact get a pullback in the trend run into a pocket, short it, put the stop behind the reaction high, you know, whatever the stop is, target 3-4 times the distance, whatever that is. And then that way, this will just be running because I know I've got the background of the market that I want to trade, right? So then back to what we're going to do in the Discord is I'm going to have to buy a new computer and then have, you know, let's say that whatever our top markets are for that 24-hour period that I'm going to be running the algos on, I'll have different screens for that computer that's dedicated specifically to the Discord so that it'll be streaming 24 hours. You'll have like, you know, whatever the channel will be called. Let's say like, you know, it'll be the top picks channel, you know, like, you know, gold, silver, whatever it is for that 24-hour period. And then you will just get to see these charts there running. And then the signals, which are going to be running on my live account, guys. I'm going to run these on a real account with real money here on Sierra. So you'll just be able to see when my live account takes the trades based on the algos, right? So then you see like, you know, and then I can explain, well, yeah, this algo was running because I expected a lot of resistance up in here. I don't know if that resistance is going to be valid or not, but if the volume-based intraday chart on gold starts to trend down, well, that's pretty much validating it for the meantime, right? And if we get a pullback into a pocket, that's one of my favorite setups on a strong downtrend. Okay, we may not get it, right? Today we did, but it may just be that you don't get it. That's fine too. But if you do get it, then I want my live account to throw on a short contract of gold right there with a stop there, and then take profit, like I said, whatever the multiple is. If I do 3 to 1, 4 to 1, something like that, and then bang, that's the trade. And you just don't know when that's going to happen, right? So I'm trying to think about how to scale this long term. NQ got a runner started. Stop loss and plus. Nice, Yawn. Good job. Yeah, that was a good break right there. You get a break too of the DML and the reaction support level here. And that's great for those of you that want to trade like that. I'm just much more of like, I like to look back and wait for these setups that I really like. So that's where we're going with this. So it's just going to be broadcasting all the trades that I would take anyways if I was in front of the screen, but I can't be in front of the screen 24 hours, right? Does that make sense, guys? And like I've always said, if you run the right algos on the right day, that's where the money's at. All right, Powell will start in 12 minutes. Hopefully something will happen. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, ES is still kind of holding here for now. NQ broke a little bit more. The Dow's not dumping. So the Dow's hold. I mean, the Dow's got a pretty nice little buy signal here, to be honest. See where that is on the just look at the Dow here. Got a lot of support there on the Dow. I'm gonna wait till Powell speaks because that's just what I do, but that's a nice 2-bar exhaust. 1, 2 into the extension right there, and you're right into all that support. Probably just going to be a very wild and wacky day. So I might try to get long the Dow, down to like 49.50 if it comes back a little bit. But these are the kind of setups that I think, just when you're scrolling around through the different charts, you just see, oh, there's a nice 2-bar. Oh, it's right into that support level. Okay, well, that's probably a good trade. I wasn't scrolling through because I was explaining things and waiting for Powell, but I think you guys get the idea. I think you can just see down here on the volume chart, right? You're just waiting for these to close. So you still got some more contracts to trade there on ES, and Q's got a few more to trade there. But then the Dow, when that one closed there, You know, it's a nice little long for sure. Ultra bonds. I don't think I can trade ultra bonds on my trade. I don't think Tradeify allows ultra bonds anymore. Gold is still really not doing anything at all. Kind of waiting for Powell, I think. But you can see, okay, we're going to get a close here on gold. That's not really, you know, is there a setup there? No, there's not. You just scroll through to silver. Do I see anything I like on silver right now? No. So we get crude. Kind of breaking through that support. So you want good patterns on the intraday volume charts into good levels. So the Dow is a good example right there of that 2-bar pattern right into that support level. So if you got it there, I mean, if it comes back here, I'll try to take a long and then put my stop below that low. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, it might go back up here. It's going to be down there into like 40,950. So I'll set an order there for the Dow just to see while we're scrolling through. We'll see what Powell does. So ES, this is about to close. I'm not really seeing a pattern here, so I wouldn't do anything. NQ, about to close, no pattern. Like I said, Dow is the one I like with the 2-bar push, exhaust for reversal back up. Ultra bonds doing nothing. I like the ultra bond. I don't know why I can't trade them on Tradeify. Maybe I can. Gold again. So this is how to run the live room from here forward. I'm just going to be scrolling through. These are the most liquid major futures markets, and they give good moves all day, every day. And that's how we're going to roll until we get the algos ready. And then when the algos are running, we'll have those running on their separate channels. While when we live stream, we're just going to be looking for patterns that come to us like this. So it's the same thing, except instead of focusing on one market and looking at a 10,000 volume into a 50,000, now you're just dialing back and you're looking at, you know, a 5% of the daily volume lower time period chart on each market into the daily. So those are your two time frames, lower, higher. That makes sense now, right? Ralph, because Ralph, this is based on what you were talking about earlier today in the chat, and I feel you on that. Like sitting there watching one market, like getting sucked into the weeds, it's it's not beneficial. You know, I want you guys to make money, so I got to try and teach you in a way that I think is going to be easiest. It's never easy, but just waiting for high probability setups, and you just go from one bar to the next on each market. So you just wait for the close. Okay, like we said, that, and you keep scrolling through because, you know, it may change, right? Something might happen. But right here, I don't see anything I like on ES. I don't see anything I like on NQ. I do like this Dow, but unfortunately I was looking at other stuff and didn't see it. But this is why you got to be on the ball. You know, had you been here, you see this, that, oh, that's about to close. Oh, well, do we have a pattern? What we're doing is we're looking for the patterns, right? We're looking for all the different patterns we talk about. And then we want those into nice daily levels where it kind of makes sense with what we think the daily is doing. So last night in our end of day analysis, you know, we said, look, we got a lot of support down here on the indices. Okay, well, right there, that 2-bar push, that's nice. You're getting that exhaust into all that daily support. My order is still there on the Dow at 950. I'll leave it there for Powell. I mean, look, if it goes down and fills me and then goes down here and I lose 70 Dow points or something, I don't really care. So I'll just leave it there. And then we'll keep scrolling through and see if we find anything heading into the end of the day. So here's Ultra Bonds. It's going to close. You know, is that something I would like? Not really. I mean, you have a little bit of a flash here. But look, you're coming out of a daily flash here. Congestion entrance up bar. Do I want to bet on the extension there that's already breaking? No. So do I want to short that? No. No. It might go down, but I don't like it for those reasons. Whereas on the Dow right here, I like that long there because we had the pattern and we had the reasons on the daily. You guys with me on that? You know, right there on the Dow, 950 to, 41,050. Nice little move. And it's not done. All right, so I'll cancel my Dow order now because it's already off and running. If it goes back down there, we'll consider it. But let's scroll. Let's not look in the past. Let's now look in the future for trades we can take here for the next hour and a half before the market closes. So ES about to close here. Powell's about to start speaking in 3 minutes. Do I see anything here? No. Do you guys see anything here? Let me know if you see anything here. I don't see anything. Nasdaq about to close here. Same as ES. I don't see anything. Dow, beautiful push up off the 2-bar exhaust into the core DML. Lovely. Ultra bonds, I already explained that's going to close, but why I don't want to take that. I don't think I can anyways on Tradeify. Gold, a bunch of chop. We're not at a daily level. Yeah, you're at the true average there, but in this chop, I don't want to take that. You just got to close there. Let's look at silver. Silver, a lot of chop here, waiting for Powell. I'd definitely be interested in shorting a pop on silver. Crude, about to close. So you see how by scrolling through, you just get a lot more looks and a lot more opportunities. So there's going to be a lot more trades. We can make the time we spend together on the live stream a lot more valuable in terms of cycling through and finding good trades. All right, so Powell's going to start here in 30 seconds. There's the close of ES. Like I said, I don't see anything there. So this is how it works. Just scrolling through, and you got the major indices, you got bonds, you got gold and silver, and you got crude oil. I mean, it's fantastic. And you guys go back. I'll upload these charts to the chart channel for those of you who have Sierra. And for those of you who don't have Sierra, I'm sure you can figure out on TradingView how to get the levels overlaid from the daily onto the intraday charts. And then you can just do this on your hourly charts. All right, I'm not going to watch Powell because I don't really care what he says, but Christian, you're our news guy, so let us know if your red news station flashes anything interesting about what Powell is saying. You guys got any questions while we're waiting? Johan, have you been to Gothenburg? Göteborg? I've been all over Denmark. I've been to Aarhus in the middle of Denmark. I made a funny song about Aarhus. You know the song Our House? I called it Aarhus. Aarhus, in the middle of Denmark, Aarhus. That was my Aarhus song. Where else have I been? I've been up the coast. You know the ferry that from the Jutland, the ferry that goes over. Is it what's that city up there? I forget. It connects. It's the closest point to Sweden up there. So I've been all around that. Oh, Frederikshavn. Frederikshavn. So I've been all over Denmark. Okay, so you've been to Gothenburg. Nice. That's where my wife is from. That's where we lived when we were in Sweden, in Gothenburg. It's a nice city. I like Gothenburg a lot. I spent a lot of time in København. That's a nice city. A lot of bicycles. Yeah, exactly. Liseberg, yeah, in Gothenburg, and then Tivoli, pretty similar in Denmark. I've been to Tivoli. Copenhagen's a cool city. So the Dow is, pushing nicely. Tie is purple. What does that mean, Tim Nasi? We going up or down? Both. All right, choppy. Is that what we're looking for? Oh man, what a nice move off the 2-bar exhaust. Guys, if you want, screenshot that. That's a good example of a nice 2-bar exhaust right there on the Dow. Let's look at ES. And Q. Yeah, the Dow was definitely. And Ralph, you see what I'm talking about? Like someone could be just focused on ES or NQ. Meanwhile, there's a great 2-bar exhaust in the Dow, Why not? Run. Oh yeah, Dow's running, baby. Ultra bonds, pulling back a little bit. Gold. You guys are gonna like this format, I promise. And I'm gonna take a lot more trades because I like this format a lot better. And some days when I feel up to it, we'll do the open. Some days, if I feel like I need to sleep later, then we'll just start streaming when I wake up. Like it doesn't, when you have all these markets, go back and look at, there's trades all throughout the day. Nice, Johan. 2,000 Danish kroners? That's a lot of money. I'm just kidding. I know it's dollars, Johan. I was just messing with Johan, guys, because 2,000 Danish kroners would have been about 200 bucks, but he's actually up 2 grand US. What market was that on, Johan? Nice, buddy. What are you long? Do you go long Nasdaq or do you take my Dow call? If you took my Dow call, oh, I was gonna say if it was YM, Johan, you could have sent me 10%, but it's Nasdaq, it's all yours. You can have it. Ralph, yeah, I see it. I think I need to get more comfortable with what charts to use and in contract sizes. Yeah, we'll get you there, Ralph. An approach like this is going to be, because imagine when you're sitting there analyzing one market and there's nothing to see there, then you'll try to like find something to see, right? It's like sitting there analyzing something that doesn't deserve to be analyzed doesn't make sense. It's better just to scan through these markets and wait for good setups. I'm going to start with all these now, but once I have the algos ready, then I'm going to have them, if running, if corn is my top pick, I'll have the algo run on corn that day, but manually doing it like this is going to be a fun way to run the streams. 2K on the dot. Nice, Johan. Good trade. All right, so here we still got some volume left to be traded on ES. NQ the same. So I'm just waiting for the closes. Dow was a beauty. So we're going to get a close here on the Dow soon. And we just look and say, okay, well, if we have a pocket here, would I want to short the Dow to go back down? Personally, I wouldn't, because to me, the daily pattern is still up. So that's why I really like that long. And that's why I wouldn't short this pocket, especially not coming out of a 2-bar exhaust, because coming out of a successful 2-bar exhaust, you got to think the shorts are still trapped. So therefore I wouldn't take that pocket. So you see, oh, there's, we're going to get a close here soon. So then I look, oh, do we have a pattern? Yeah, we do. We're in a pocket. You know, okay, do I want to short that pocket? Look at the daily. I know where we're at in the weekly. No, I don't want to short that. We're still pushing. So ultra bonds, no volume there. Gold is still doing nothing. Waiting for the close. Silver, crude doing nothing. So I like this. God, I've got so much mucus in my head. So now we just watch and wait, have a discussion while we just follow close to close to close, you know? So like, look at yesterday, guys. Right? Like, you see, I mean, look at this. That's at 12 o'clock Eastern. Who cares? It's a beautiful little flash pocket. Extension shot it down. You know, you got a bunch of, you got your DMLs stacked right here. I mean, that's a great short. It doesn't matter that it happened at 12 o'clock. $20,500. Yeah, that's, I kind of thought starting the week on NQ, loaded over here. I got to move this over here. We got the quote board. Yeah, I kind of thought starting the week we would head back up here to these DMLs, but so far this monthly seems to be distributing pretty nicely with resistance. So today's close is going to give us a lot of information. Yeah, Tom is amazing. He's a great trader. That's good. I like what you do, Johan. You just take little bits and pieces from everybody and you make it work for yourself. That's the key. I mean, right now it's kind of looking like, you know, I mean, who I'm not going to speculate on where we're going to close yet because Powell could say something and these markets can rocket, 100 handles. ES could just do whatever it wants. So we got to, we'll just take it bar by bar. So ES and NQ still waiting for the close. Dow did just close. You see, so Ralph, can you see Tim Nasi, all you guys, like, okay, there's a pocket on the Dow. You might look at that and say, look, there's an extension. You see that little extension right there? The pink dot on the Dow. You say, oh, well, I may want to short that. And just like, no, because you're coming out of the 2-bar exhaust and you've got a lot of support there on the daily, right? Ultra bonds doing its thing. Gold. I think this is more fun too to scroll through all the different markets. Like it's way less boring than just sitting and staring at the Nasdaq. And then because you have all these markets, you can just stream any time of day because there's always going to be something going on. Silver, we're waiting. Crude, that's a nice little flash right there on crude. But I don't really have, yeah, we're in the pocket here. But I don't know, let's go look. Let's look at the crude higher time periods. Crude takes a while to load. See, it takes longer to load on Sierra because of the volume back adjusted charts, which are just a little more detailed. So see, I clicked on crude, and now it's like waiting and gathering all the data before it's going to populate the charts. Here comes crude. The only justification I could give for crude right there would be that you got a crossover and you're at you guys see the valley of the envelope right there. You're kind of in that crossover area. Where did my scoreboard go? Oh, there it is. So what contract are we on crude? CLM. So you got the flash. You know, it's not a bad trade right there on crude. I'm not going to take it because, like, when I look at the Dow, there was just no questions about that 2-bar exhaust. Whereas crude here, it's like, it's not a terrible trade, but I think it's more like 50-50. Whereas if I had to rate that Dow 2-bar exhaust, I mean, that to me is like a, 65-35, 70-30. It's kind of a better thing. Yeah, saving up for tomorrow. I think so. But we'll watch it together. There might be some action. Sometimes when Powell is done speaking, some things will happen. I mean, it looks so far like we're setting up potentially short pockets, for because the daily not able to recover from that, because you got to look at the fact that we had these nice buy patterns and then we got shot down out of the pocket. If we close around here, the daily could be setting up, for the move down as we head to the weekly true average. Yeah, nice. I mean, yeah, I think definitely the place, Johan, to get into that, for me, the place to get into the Dow would have been here if I had seen this in time. And then where would I have taken profit? I don't know. Somewhere in this pocket. Probably I would have targeted the extension. I'd be out. But hey, it might keep running. I know Tom likes to hold stuff for a long time. He's good at that. Let's see. Ralph, much larger push, straighter line, further distance, no flash. The 2-bar exhaust, YM versus CL. Yeah, are you talking about this YM 2-bar is pretty darn perfect, Ralph. And then on CL, we didn't really have a 2-bar. This is more just you're trending straight down and you've got a nice little flash here. And you could make the argument that you're kind of at some daily support because you got that old crossover here, right? That's coming across here. So like that's why I said like this is not a terrible long on crude. It's just not like it's not as good as the Dow 2-bar we just saw. So there's a close right there on ES. You're in a nice steep pocket. Now at this point, I would say I'd be looking to long. So like, if the next 15, 20 minutes, if ES comes back down like this into a support pocket because we're in congestion here, I would entertain a long here to close the day, somewhere like that. So this short, I wouldn't take. Not to say it won't drop, but I kind of prefer waiting to see if it sets up a long. Nasdaq just kind of chunking around. The same thing with the Dow. Like if the Dow goes back down here and could set up another long. So now something's happening, which is nice at least. Ultra bonds are kind of moving. Could be setting up a potentially decent short here on the ultra bonds. If this closes here at the end of day, that's, even though that's a congestion entrance up bar coming out of the flash, if we close below the extension congestion and the true average, that could be a nice potential setup like that. We'll have to see where these close. So gold's dumping out of that 2-bar. Really nice 2-bar there on gold daily. Reversal back down. Silver's been under a lot of pressure. All right, let's make sure we don't miss anything, because I'd like to take, now that I missed that damn Dow trade. All right, so ES, we got the close. I said why I'm not shorting that. NQ, we're about to close, but even though we're in that pocket, I'm not going to short that. The Dow, we're waiting. Ultra bonds, waiting. Gold waiting. Silver's going to close here. Do we have a pattern? Not really. I mean, it's kind of trying to exit congestion and keep going. But at this point, you know, you can see that the energy's down on silver. The daily's coming out of also kind of a 2-bar, but more of just a normal exhaust. But so now with silver, you know I want to short, that's for sure. You know, do I want to short here? No. Look, I'm just not a momentum guy. That's not, I like, if I want to short, I want this to come back up here. Give me, then I short. Something like that. That's just the way I like to do it. Crude still doing nothing. All right, at least we got some action now, which is nice. Well, I mean, Ralph, the 2-bar, it's bar number 1, bar number 2. They're both about the same size, you know, and it's just basically you're making a big move from one side to the other. And if you have reason to believe that there's going to be support here, then it's a 2-bar exhaust because you're counting on a reversal back up. You'll get it. It just takes a little time. So now Powell's saying something to spook everybody, huh? Yeah, look look for all of them, Ralph. Look for the 2-bars, look for the pockets, look for the flashes, right? Look for the extended pockets. There's lots of stuff to look for. So NQ is about to close here. Do we like this? I don't like this. Pretty choppy. Dow is doing its thing. That was pretty much so far the trade of the FOMC session on the Dow. And see what we can start doing when we live stream like this together every day, whenever we do it. If it's at the open, if it's in the afternoon, it's just going to be when it makes sense. Then, you know, when the day is over, you can say like, guys, this was the one trade we liked. Take a screenshot. Oh, there's a 2-bar. You know, the reason we liked it. Boom. And you start getting like a trade review archive. You can always see what market I'm on. Just, you know, you can look either up here, I got YM, V is for volume, UB, Ultra Bond, Gold, GC, SI, CL. So you can see here, or you can read it here. Dow Jones. So I'm just waiting for closes. So you're going to get an Ultra Bond close here. Like, do I want to take that pocket there? No. The good ones will jump out at you. Look at gold. It's doing nothing. Chop. Silver, we're waiting. Crude, sitting here doing nothing. We don't know if that flash is going to hold or not, but I don't like it enough. ES, we still got some volume left to be traded. See, what's nice too, when you do 5% of the daily volume, like you just kind of rotate from one to the next. And since they're volume-based charts, they're all closing at different times, right? Which is cool. Because if you're using, let's say, an hourly chart, they're all going to close on that hour. And you're like, oh my God, I like that. It's hard, right? With the volume, you're like, oh, you can, you know, when we're looking at this with the Dow, you know, that was just right there at that moment in time because that's when the Dow closed. So let's see what's going to close next. About halfway to go there on the ES. NQ, we know just closed and we nixed it. We don't want to take that. Dow, we're waiting for a close. Well, there's still a lot of, I mean, I think we might be in congestion here. So if the Dow came back down here, I'd consider buying it again if we had a nice pocket or something. Keep an eye on that. Ultra bonds, about to close. I already don't like that. Gold, no. So he's just cycling through. Silver, crude. So yeah, crude. Probably going to keep trending down. So by scrolling through like this, that way you see that Dow 2-bar exhaust right here before it's starting to close, and you know, like, oh man, if that's closing right there, I'm buying it, stopping it just below these lows. That's a nice risk to reward right there. Oh, I do a bit of stretching. So like ES, I mean, look, we're still sitting at this support at these DMLs here on the daily chart for ES, right? We still have a lot of support here. So you can see tested, held, push up into this pocket. Now, if we close in here, right, and you could see, look at all this selling on the footprint. So far, are they getting a whole lot for that selling? Not yet, right? So if this was to close in a support pocket here, yeah, I'd probably take a shot to buy ES for a push back up there, you know, risk a few $100 to try and make 700 or 800 on these Tradeifys. Because I got to get aggressive on these Tradeifys. Like either I'm going to get them to pay out very fast or I'm going to blow them, because the next set of Tradeifys I want to go with, I want to go with the growth accounts, because the growth accounts have a 35% consistency rule, which I just like way better than this 20% on the sim defunded. So I'm looking to fire away, but still on good trades. So we'll do like a live stream every day we stream, and the trades that we're, you know, that we like and that we take, you know, we screenshot them, put them in the archives. It's going to be a really good way to learn. Yeah, I mean, we're heading into power hour, Johan. There could be something. But I agree, now it's pretty choppy. But I'll wait a little more. Now the shorts are being forced to cover. Look at that on the footprint. Minus 1939 was the peak selling pressure. Now we're back to minus 907, so they're covering. So Dow is about to close. Eh, I don't like that. Maybe up here, I would like. Nice, Supreme. That was good coming out of that pocket there. It's going to be fun to see where everything closes today. All right, so ES is about to close here. Don't really see anything I like there. And Q, no. Dow just closed. I mean, I don't really see a pattern I like. You closed above these DMLs. Yeah, you got the daily extension coming across here. That's true. But this was much better because you had its own extension here, extension here. This one, you might get a good drop, but it's not one that I would want to take. You guys will see that the ones you really like, they're clear and they just kind of jump right out at you. And it doesn't take more than a few good ones a week. Gold still doing nothing. Silver. Crude. Well, Power Hour is about to start. Is Powell still speaking or is he done? Still talking. Okay. Good. Sorry, guys. My whatever this thing is that I have, it's like the congestion and the body aches. So I'm like, I gotta give myself my neck a little squeeze here. Oh yeah, economy's in great shape. I love that. They're all sitting in their ivory towers. Like, I went to we have this supermarket here called Auto Mercado. It's like the high end, you know, like Whole Foods or whatever. So I went there yesterday. I don't even know what we got. Like it was like nothing. And it was like $140 for like literally almost nothing. I'm just like, it's, like I don't care, but I'm like, how does the average person go and buy groceries? I really think about that. I guess like here, for example, people are living on literally like rice, black beans, and corn tortillas, and then like, you know, maybe once in a while they'll buy some meat or something. Because you know, the average salary here in Costa Rica, guys, is 500, 600, $700 a month for like the laborer, right? If you've got like a good position at an office building or something, maybe you make 1,200, $1,500 a month in Costa Rica. Like I'm going to the store, like every time I go, I'm just like $100, $80, $90. And I go like, you know, every day. I mean, granted, I got to buy for the family and pregnant wife and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just thinking like, man, how do these people do it? So we are blessed that we can sit here and trade and do what we do. I got 6 new 150K Top Step accounts coming tonight. That'll be cool. Funded XFAs, 6 of them. So I'll activate 5 of them. And I'm still kind of deciding. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm trying to decide if I trade them 3 at a time or all 5 at once. I'm going to risk whatever I do. I'm going to try and wait for a good trade, risk the full 4,500 bucks, and then go for like, you know, like a $10,000 winner on each account. So if I hit that on 5 accounts, that'd be 50K. You know, that'd be nice. Minus my cost on those accounts, which is, you know, probably 3K, something like that. So that's a pretty good risk to reward if you invest 3K or 4K to try to make 50. I don't know. Johan, do you like those odds? I like those odds. We'll see. We shall see. Yeah, they have local markets. Yeah, they do. Um, but I mean, I've tried out the local market just to see the prices. To be honest, like I guess at the local markets, you know, what they can get is they'll buy like, you know, bulk huge bags of rice and beef. So I think that's what they do. Like a lot of families, you know, they'll like pool their money and just buy like, you know, 10 kilos of black beans, you know, dried black beans, or 10 kilos of rice, you know, these huge bags. And I'm pretty sure that's how they do it. Meanwhile, in my family, it's like, well, if it's not organic and it's not, I'm like, okay, great. So we spend $150 and we get nothing. Oh man. So yeah, so that'll be fun to activate those XFAs, and we'll see. It's either going to be out of the park or it's going to be swing and a miss. Either way, I'm good. Organic Saints? What's Organic Saints, Johan? Is that a market in Copenhagen? I mean, Copenhagen's not cheap. I've been there. But Sweden's not cheap either. But I'll tell you, man, at least food in Costa Rica is way more than food in Gothenburg. Like if I go to Ica or Coop, um, you know, it's you get good quality stuff for pretty reasonable prices in Sweden. Oh, Organic Saints. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly, Johan. Now I know what you mean. Yes, that's yeah, Copenhagen is expensive, definitely. But I'm telling you, man, like, okay, here, there's like in Hako, there's a steakhouse, you know, that costs, I don't know, like you go and you get like a steak and a potato. It's like $130. That doesn't even include like a beer. I'm like, how do they stay in business? Who's doing that? Just learn to read. Well, I gotta learn to read, but I'm learning your humor, Johan. All right, let's make sure we're not missing anything here. Nasdaq about to close. I mean, look, if we punch down here into the support pocket, I'd buy the Nasdaq. Dow, we're waiting. Bonds, waiting. Gold, doing nothing. Silver, about to close, but not really giving me anything. Crude, much ado about nothing. Is that Shakespeare? Much ado about nothing? I think so. There's ES, not closing. And so NQ is the one where we're kind of getting close here. If we could come maybe just down here into itty bitty pocket and set up a push, potentially. I spent a lot of time in Denmark, Johan. I know the Danish humor very well. I like the Danish humor. It's very direct. The Danes are direct. You want to know my joke about the Danish people, Johan? You might get offended, but let me know if you want to hear it. I'll tell you. Because I think it's funny. While we're waiting for a potential trade setup here in Power Hour. Because I spent a lot of time in southern Sweden, in Malmö, where you have like lots of Danes there. And then I spent a lot of time with the Danish people in Copenhagen. Give it all you got. Okay, so my joke, this came after spending like several weeks with a big group of Danish people. We were in the forest. We were doing like lots of hiking because my buddy is Danish, and then he had a bunch of his Danish friends coming over, and we all hung out for a while. And what I learned after that week of Danish humor is that I said like the average Danish guy, anyways, it's like they have Asperger's. There's no filter between what's going on in here and what comes out here. That was my experience with the Danish guys. It's like if the thought came, just it came out the mouth. Whereas in Sweden, you know, they're much more careful. The Swedes are like, you know, you can always see like if a Swedish person comes into a shop. Yeah, the Danes don't give a shit. It's true. The Danes and the Swedes are very different. Like the Danes just do, the Swedes, they'll come into like a shop and they'll, when they get to the door, they'll like look around before they go in. They're careful. The Danes just do whatever they want to do. It's really funny. And the Norwegians are a lot more like the Swedes. All right, ES sitting here. NQ. Is Powell still talking, Ralph? Oh yeah. Among each other, they definitely don't give a shit. That's true. The homies. Oh, he's talking. Okay, Q&A. All right, nice. Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Johan. I like this format, guys. This is gonna be a good format. And we'll stream the open many days. Like tomorrow and Friday, we'll stream the open together. We'll stream for a couple hours. It'll be nice. We use this format. I'm just talking about like when the baby comes, you know, like if the baby's crying all night and I'm like trying to sleep with earplugs and I don't fall asleep till like 4, you know, I'm not waking up at fucking 6 to stream. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah, we're different Americans. I mean, but Americans, I gotta say, man, most Americans are very friendly and for the most part very authentic. Like we are kind of like we're friendly, but we're not faking it. I don't know. What do you guys think, Ralph? Ralph, what do you think? Us Americans, I think we're friendly. I think we're just like open people. I mean, most people are friendly anywhere you go. Oh gosh, he's probably getting thirsty. I'm getting thirsty just thinking about that. Yeah, all the Americans I know are super friendly. Mm. I mean, most people I've met in my life are really friendly from everywhere. In Malta, there were super cool people. In Spain, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, I've lived. You know, California, where I'm from, there's lots of nice people there. The world is actually a pretty amazing place if you just don't watch the news, which is, you know, what I don't watch. All right, we're gonna get a close here on NQ. See if we can push down here. I'll change my DOM. Okay, so there it is. Beautiful. You know, if this was to close right down in here, which it may not, but I kind of like, I like to take the trade when it closes, you know, like where I want to get in. So like here, I mean, it's not a bad spot to enter like 780 at those DMLs because you got that nice pocket. I like it when it closes in the pocket and you just get it. Again, that's just personal preference type stuff. We're closing up here on the Nasdaq. Let's look at ES. ES, we're still waiting. Beautiful there with the Dow. Ultra bonds. Chop. Gold. Gold's okay, gold's about to close. You guys see a pattern there? I don't. We're just kind of still chopping. Maybe we'll break out of that range. Maybe we won't. But nice to see the 2-bar exhaust end of day affecting price. Silver just beautiful. Jeez. Freaking dollar. My God. Wow. Crude. Yeah, that's why I didn't like that flash because you didn't really have anything to lean against. And Q should be closed here shortly. Still got a little bit of time here for power hour. Could be some fireworks, especially when Powell's done. Usually moves a little bit. Johan, I watched a basketball player write their stuff to land a contract out of college here. Was it a Danish basketball player? Do you guys have any basketball players? I mean, you guys are tall, but are you athletic? I don't know. Are there any Danish guys in the NBA? Very filtered people. Yeah, exactly. Oh, from the US. Okay. Is he a US player playing in Denmark? Is there like a professional basketball league in Denmark? I know they have them like in Germany. Spain is good at basketball. There was one. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Gold. Yeah, taking a nice little dump. You jumping on that, Johan? Probably headed down here, I would guess, for 33.60. Oh, gold's dumping nicely. So Powell must have said something. Oh, man. I think gold's gunning for that extension down there. 33.60 at least, envelope top, probably even lower, probably even the maybe 33.50 potentially. Sure looks like it. Hey Aaron, gold's dumping. Other than that, you haven't missed a whole lot. ES is doing nothing, Aaron. NQ chopping around. Bonds chop. Gold breaking out. Silver just getting smoked. So what are you jumping on that momentum there for gold? Yeah, I think gold's going to keep dumping. But I was looking for more of a pop to get short, but we just didn't get the pop. Yeah, I'm observing. I mean, if we pulled back up here to 80, I could take a stab, maybe short, risk a few $100 and see if it collapses quickly. I'll see. Not really my kind of trading. Just not like a momentum guy. Aaron is the momentum guy. And Johan, you like momentum. I like momentum when I'm in the trade. The Dow, bonds, gold. Silver getting Smoke City crude smoked. Powell's smoking everybody. We'll see if we get a setup here. Just the last 20 minutes. That'd be nice. It was a nice, that Dow trade was nice. Wish I saw that a few minutes earlier. Yeah, momentum is definitely the trades I like these kind of trades where if I'm in support, I just buy it and then I know my risk here. The reason I'm not a momentum guy, and I'm not saying it's wrong, like Aaron's really good at momentum, but I'm not a momentum guy because just it's not how I've ever traded. Like if I get in here, it's like where do I stop it? I just don't. That's why I don't like momentum. Yeah, holding the trades. That's definitely one of the hard parts. Okay, now we get a little bit of a pushback up here. Yeah, trusting it's important. Very important. I think gold is at least giving us a clear path to the downside. I do think it looks like it wants to head lower, so I'm kind of interested in shorting up here because ES is not doing much, NQ is not doing much. Dow, we had our opportunity there. Bonds are not doing much. Silver is just, death spiral. So gold, I think, wants to catch down. Crude not doing a whole lot. So I think gold is kind of the market here. So I might look to short gold up in here, just at this broken, you can see, here, basically, we're in congestion, and now there's your congestion exit. So to try to short here for the push down, and then if we suck back in the range, I would probably just get out. So I'll just monitor it. This would be a congestion exit trade because I do feel like gold wants to finish the day down here. So it could be a good risk to reward on this trade. I'm not typically a congestion exit kind of guy because, again, that's more momentum. But let's see. Right now I have an order to short gold at like 81.7 right in here. And basically, if I got filled on that and it kind of started to go against me back up in here, I'd probably bail on it pretty quick and just lose a few $100. But if it got filled and then I saw the selling coming quickly, you know, then I would at least know that I got a good spot. So let's see. I tried there. That was kind of the push up. We didn't get to my entry at 81.7. These are the hardest trades for me that I'm not like nuts about, but I just kind of feel like gold could drop. So let's see. Yes, there's a close right there. I'm just canceling that gold order because I just don't want it sitting there while I'm scrolling around looking. But I'll go back and look at gold. I don't mind it from the short side. So ES, yeah, you got a little pocket here. I mean, again, I just like the support better. NQ, YM, UB. Silver, I mean, silver's just. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. I know what this is. So gold, I'm still interested in shorting up here because I feel like this still got a lot of contracts left to trade. I mean, this could really fall out of bed. Aaron, how'd you do today? If you're here, I know Aaron's at work, so yo, buy lower our leverage and we don't blow so many accounts. NTS. What's NTS? So still got about 35 minutes left here for the day. And I'm excited about the reopen. Just keyboard crap. Okay. Excited to see if anything sets up for those 5 new 150K funded accounts tonight. That would be sweet. See, gold's coming out of that weekly resistance pocket, so I think over the next couple of days you could see some long liquidation push down here. What do you think, Johan? Because on gold here, oops, on the daily and the weekly chart here for gold, the monthly, the quarterly, the yearly, this is still crude, but gold will load here in a second when Sierra charts feels like it is ready to load. So here comes gold. So I think coming out of that weekly pocket here and that 2-bar push, I think we want to see some weakness here in gold, especially with silver leading the way. So now I'm trying to get back to my gold charts here, but Sierra is still, there we go. All right, there's that push up. up in here somewhere. Let's see if some selling comes in. My order's gone for now, just because it's like I don't really have a pattern. That's the way I like to trade. I'm kind of tempted. But if we can get any kind of a push, I would love to short gold at a good spot. Who's going down, Aaron? We got, let's check ES. Oh yeah, ES is going downtown. Is Powell still speaking, you guys? Yeah, NQ as well. Let's look at NQ. Yeah. A little bit here. No, he's done. Okay, nice. Hey, Christian. Nice to see you, buddy. Thank you, Ralph. He's done. Thank you, Johan. So we'll just scroll through here and see. Waiting for some closes here. So the Dow just closed. We got a little bit of a flash here. You see, the Dow's not really buying right now anyways what the Nasdaq is selling. Nice. You get out with a profit, Supreme, up in here, or break even. Bonds are hanging out. Gold is trying to respect that congestion exit resistance level there. Man. Woo. Silver. There goes crude. You see, just filtering out the 50-50s helps a lot. So today, the clearest one I've seen so far for me has been that Dow double bar here. That was the clear one so far. $330. Get some volatility coming in here in 10 seconds. How's the latency today, guys? You can see here we're 5 seconds before the half hour. Right now is the half hour. Bang. We're still flirting with this support level here on ES, for example, and you got a nice pocket. So, you know, if we're in congestion, if we held this support level and we had a nice pocket, I'd probably buy for a potential push back up into the close. What do you guys think about that? Are you guys, are we feeling good about that? Or are we not feeling good about that? If we get a pocket there, you guys, let me know. We might buy it. Let's see. Nasdaq, we don't have the same pocket. See, the Dow is not making new lows yet, which means that could boost our odds for the pocket push up. Sorry, buddy. No, well, you know, the Nasdaq, yeah, there's support here, but the Nasdaq, you know, can be a funky little devil sometimes. It may want to push down here. I don't know. I'm just looking at, you know, my stuff. I know that mathematically this pocket is very important. So therefore ES to me, if we were to close, let's say there's the extension, there's the congestion. If we were to close like 56.20 on ES when this closes here in about 28,000 contracts, then I could take a stab at, you know, something like that, right? So that could be interesting. I'm just kind of waiting for patterns to show up. And this is how we're going to run the live trading room from now on, which I really like, because I've been searching for the right way to run it. This feels better to me. How's it feel to you guys? You get used to it, but switching around, just looking for patterns is nice. And then it's just, this is your lower time period and the daily is your higher time period. Tim Nossi, long seems interesting. Yeah, I think so. There's still support here for now. Dow is not pushing. So the Nasdaq and the Dow, one will always want to lead the other. Sometimes it's hard to figure out who's leading the dance, who's leading. But right now, I think with the Dow holding up, it could give a, especially with gold and silver dumping too, right? That's more, oh, maybe there's slightly less fear in the market, for right now. I mean, silver just getting shellacked, crude. So yeah, ES, if this closes like here, I'm just gonna have to take a shot at it because, we have to wait till the close, but I'm gonna have no choice. Like either I lose a few $100, that's fine, or it pushes and we have a nice win because we do have a lot of support here that we have to respect on the daily for now. And we don't know where this is going to close. I mean, looking at the footprint here, I mean, on that bar on ES here, that big one there, you had a minus 1900 peak aggression selling on the delta and closed plus 1700. I mean, that's quite a turnaround there. So here on the delta, we've got a peak of 13, and if it's backing off, you could have some short squeeze fuel to push higher. Anyways, I'm not going to overthink it. If there's a pocket there into daily support and we close right around here where we're holding these things, I'm going to buy it. I am waiting for the close, and then, you never know. It might just close way back up in here. But I wait for closes. That's just what I do. Yeah, definitely, Johan. And we got power hour. It's 3:34 now. So, we got the end of day algos coming in. We got MOC, all that kind of fun stuff. See if we can catch a good little signal before we end the day. So I can go for a nice long walk on the beach, clear my sinuses before I come back and do the end of day analysis. But Ralph, Christian, Tim Nasi, you guys, how are you liking this format? Because for me, I like this format a lot better rather than just staring at the NASDAQ. Oh man, I'm longing for a walk big time. Because when I'm in here with the AC with this man flu that I have again, I get all congested. Whereas when I go for a walk on the beach, the humidity in Costa Rica, it starts to like clear everything out. I just immediately feel better. You like it, Christian? Okay, good. I like it. I like it a lot. I think you guys are gonna adjust to it. And like I said, a lot of days we'll do the open, but some days if I'm up late and the baby and I want to sleep in and start streaming in the middle of the day, then we just pick up where we're at. The good news with a lot of markets is that they're always good trades. Oh yeah, the salty air is amazing, like right by the beach. All right, let's get ready and see here. I love the salt air, and then even taking a swim in the warm ocean, the salt water, it's so nice. I feel so much better when I do that. Let's see where this closes here. If we get a nice little suck up, because right now we're breaking the extension, congestion, But if we suck up here, I'll take a long, and it pretty much has to cooperate like immediately. If we start to take out the lows, I'll just bail and take a $300 loss or something. So we're sucking up a little bit. Let's see. NQ still kind of sitting there. The Dow's sitting there for now. So ES kind of sucking up a little bit here. I'm kind of liking this 1875 level as we still got 12,000 contracts left to trade. Believe me, it's tempting to just get in right here. It is. But with 12,000 contracts left to trade, I just got to wait for it to get a little closer. I like the support here. Oh, there we go. Might try and set an order now at like 1750, because then what I could do is if I set the order at 1750 and it fills it, but then it closes below there, I could just exit immediately because then it's not confirming. So I guess I'll set an order at like, yeah, 1750. Okay. I have an order at 1750 here. May have to lift that to like 20.5. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna lift it. May not get it. It's tricky. Go 20.5 here on the order. So I got an order at 20.5. Just it's right around the true average right there. We'll see. We'll see. It's end of day. Anything can happen. We got about 5,000 contracts left to trade. I'm not filled yet. I'm filled at 20.5. And now I would want to, I'm a little early, but on my standards, I usually wait for the close. But we're close to the close, 3,000 contracts. And like if we were to close down here at like 17, I'd probably just bail, you know? You know, my mental stop is down here, but I really don't want to see it. I mean, I would want to see it start pushing up quickly. So I'd bail pretty quickly if it didn't cooperate. I mean, a lot of weird volatility comes in too, guys, with power hour. So, you know, if you're going to follow me, just beware. You can see those are there's the fill 20.5. So I would just be looking now for, I really don't want it to go below the true average here. So like, I don't even want it to come down here. So I don't have like a stop in, but just mentally. And I would just, you know, see if we get lucky and just get a little squeeze back up here to like 56.50, you know, that'd be pretty cool. Or even, you know, right here, the near the reaction high there, you know, 45 maybe if it went. It may not. It may just dump, right? I mean, I don't know. It's post Powell, but we'll give it a shot. I'm not moving to break even yet, but I kind of don't want it to come back to my entry because if, you know, the shorts were pressing 1351 on the delta and now it closed, you know, so if they're stuck, they should be stuck and this should push. And Q's sitting there. Dow's kind of sitting. Oh, there we go. Got some volatility there. So I'm still holding for like 40-ish, maybe 42. All right, I'll take it there. So that was a good trade. finish the day. It was about 1,100 bucks on that for the ES. I think that was good, guys. Oh wow, yeah, she's really going. Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, look, I could have held for more, but it's been kind of a choppy day. At least we got a good read, you see. So I think this is definitely a nice way to trade. We were patient. We had a good trade in the end. We're following the system. You know, the system works when you use it correctly, like a hammer to build a house. But and now it's like, oh my gosh, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, held. I don't play that game. I didn't know this was gonna happen. I was kind of looking for like 1,100 bucks, 1,200 bucks. That's what I got. I was happy with that, right? And you know, I promise you, had I seen this Dow trade just a few minutes earlier when this closed, I was busy yapping away. But that would have been another, you know, nice trade. So if you just scan through these and just wait for the market to come to you, you know, that's you know, you get some good trades. So this is how we'll do it, and we'll stream the open tomorrow together. Thanks, Supreme. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I think I got out like basically the reason I got out is because, you know, number one, you never know what's going to happen, right? And number two, okay, we're in congestion. I at least waited, got a really good entry, right? And then my target was basically not only the other side of the congestion zone, but at that time, you know, we had some key daily levels here. So, you know, yeah, it broke, but it could have as well reversed, you know, so you just never know. Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. And, you know, that 1K was on 5 accounts. So that's you know, that's 5,500 bucks. That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, my kind of trading, Johan, you know, I'm not Tom Hugard, not even close. I don't make, you know, what he makes, but I do okay. I do just fine for me. You know, Tom's got a head start. He's like 50, how old's Tom? 56, 57. So I got another 12 years to go from 45. And I think when I'm Tom's age, I'll be where Tom's at. But it's all steps, right? But Tom is a freak of nature. You know, he's just incredible. I've messaged with Tom back and forth. He's a good guy. All right, so now you got a look. Now you got a really nice little pocket here. I mean, I wouldn't short this, but I'm done for the day. I like to take my snipe and get out. Um, oh, thanks, Supreme. Appreciate that, man. Well, I feel a lot older when I'm sick and I got the bags and the beard, but yeah, when I'm surfing and I'm healthy and I feel good, yeah, I think my wife helps keep me younger, you know? She's uh she's 32. So, oh yeah. Look, 240K trade one day. Yeah, I mean that's just different, you know. If I make six, seven, 800 grand for the year, I'm happy. That's a good year. I don't need to push it. I don't like to take enormous amounts of risk. I'm getting better at that. That's why I'm using my Top Step XFAs now to take a lot more risk. It's kind of like it's a way where I can get comfortable taking more risk. I'm getting used to that. Um, yeah, good wife, happy life. Yeah, for sure. My wife's awesome. I'm really lucky. She's a very, very sweet person, a kind, kind soul, beautiful, wonderful, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, for me, Top Step, you know, I trade very aggressively. That's my aggressive prop firm. So, uh, yeah, I mean, look, at the beginning with the props, I was trading more conservatively, but then as the payouts start to add up and you start to figure stuff out, you know, you get a lot more aggressive. But yeah, some of them are really stupid. Like, well, you think about the rules with the props, and, you know, like these Tradeify accounts, I got to get to like 9 grand and I get 6,000 of draw. and I got to get to that 9 grand with a 20% consistency rule, you know, that means I got to make 150%. I mean, that's a big return, 150%, right? Let's say like if you got 200 grand in the bank and then you do 150% for a whole year, you know, you just made $300,000, you know, for a year. So Tradeify, if you want to get the payout in a month or two, um, you gotta make 150% in a month or two, right? Yeah, that's insane. But I mean, I've had success with it, so for me, it's like I like it's just more leverage. I don't mind that, but I have different strategies. I trade around my live accounts, different prop firms. I do different things, and I like the flexibility it gives you because it's like a portfolio. You get variation, which is cool. So, all right, you guys. Well, look, I really appreciate you guys for being here. Johan, Ralph, Christian, Timnasi, Supreme, all you guys. Appreciate it. Aaron, thanks for being here, man. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow morning with the regular schedule. Today, I just didn't want to do the morning because I just felt like some days FOMC can be super choppy, right? So thanks, Christian. Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate it, guys. So tomorrow morning and Friday, we'll finish off the week with some morning streams. And then, yeah, great FOMC day, Timnasi. And then, like I said, you know, when's the 13th, guys? When's the 13th? Tuesday. Okay, so next Tuesday, we'll see if I stream or not on Tuesday next week because we're going to the Airbnb in San Jose where we're gonna have the baby, and we're doing that on Tuesday afternoon next week, and then we'll check in there, and then I'll get everything set up, and then we're just gonna be lounging around waiting for the baby to come. And yeah, my goal is to just this is why I've been searching for, okay, how do I find a good streaming format that's going to work for me, work for you guys, and also, you know, when the baby comes, if I'm up all night, how do I need to sleep, and then, okay, well, like and if you guys go back, I'll put these charts for you guys in the members area later if you want to download them. I've made some changes, but it's nice with Sierra to be able to overlay these levels. But you can see, go back and look at any of this, and you just see it really doesn't, when you look at all these major markets up here, and then, okay, you stream the open, fine, but if you stream the middle of the day, fine, you stream the end of the day, fine, like there's trades, you just got to wait for them, right? So we can, the streaming will vary depending on my sleep with the newborn, but that's just going to be what it is, and as long as we all continue to make money, that's what matters, and that's why we're here. So all right, you guys, I'm checking out. Thank you. Leave a like on the way out if you haven't. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the Discord later. I'm gonna take a long walk, so I'll do the end of day analysis when I get back. Probably be out by like 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys see anything, you know, right at the reopen, you see a pattern, you want to take it, you know, talk to each other about it. If it's before I've released the end of day analysis, okay? So yeah. All right, take care, guys. Take care, Jan. See you guys tomorrow morning. Hope we'll have a good stream. And I hope you guys had a good day. Bye.